been about a year and some change since my massive 50-plus person senior capstone project, where I directed and recorded an entire 32-piece ensemble to play my arrangements of popular indie video game songs from the last 10 years. I figured it was time for a review, seeing as it was long overdue, and I want to talk about my experience with this project and what it took to make it happen. So, let's get started.
Why so down tonight? Just another day that didn't go your way. Well, don't you make a sigh. Just take my hand. Don't toss and turn.
So first off, let me talk about what it was. It was a massive 50-plus person project, like I said before, that involved staff, students, and professionals to make it happen. We had about 32 people on stage, including myself, and about 20 other people involved backstage and with the project elsewhere. I had my friends and fellow musicians at my university play my jazz arrangements of popular indie video game songs in a concert that lasted roughly an hour and a half. There were 9 arrangements in total, and I structured the ensemble based on a traditional big band with a small string orchestra and some auxiliary percussion and synths. I did it because I was working on a double major at the time. One of them was focused on audio and production, and the other was focused on music. I wanted to combine both disciplines into one huge senior capstone project to meet each major's requirements. And then I was inspired by artists and bands such as Insane in the Rain Music and the 8-Bit Big Band, but I wanted to do something different than what they did. So I focused more on indie video games. And finally, we'll get into the how of how I did it. I started with arranging several songs from popular indie video games based on a survey I put out the previous semester. I met several times with staff over the course of the semester to discuss logistics and details about the concert, made sure everyone was on the same page. I organized everyone on my team. I found the best times that would work with all of the performers so that we could rehearse. I created a lot of documentation that would help organize information personally for myself so that I can keep everything just all together so it wasn't chaotic. And then I also created documentation to give out to others and help spread information among the group. This one's also kind of a joke. I used time management. I blocked out my time. I say block out. I spent several all-nighters working on this project. Several energy drinks were consumed, and probably several years of my life were lost because of this project. But anyways, it was worth it. It was so worth it. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't let me tell you otherwise. It was worth it. And then after recording everything, I used my editing skills with audio mixing and video editing to put everything together, stitch it all together, and then put it on YouTube. I also did a lot of planning for this project. There was about, I'd say, a year worth of planning, probably a year and a half before the concert actually took place, where I kind of conceptualized this, and then the previous semester, before my final semester, I actually took a class that was very helpful in zeroing in on what I wanted to do and how I wanted to go about doing it. And that was like this pre-capstone course that was really useful and helped me a lot, put into perspective how I could make this whole thing happen. This was some of the software I used. I used Google Sheets, Google Forms, MuseScore 4. I used Reaper. I used Pro Tools. I used stuff from the Adobe Creative Suite like Illustrator, Photoshop, and Premiere. So that was pretty much how I did it. Let's get into some of the documents that I used in the process. First off, we have the survey that I used and posted all around my campus. I made it a poster, I printed it out. This is what it looked like. This is how I designed it. And then I had a QR code there that people could scan. It's no longer up, of course, but this led to this spreadsheet, and then I collected everyone's responses here and just kind of gathered what they wanted to hear. There was a second poster there, and that's where I figured out who would be interested with helping with this production. So who would be interested in performing, or maybe even working on audio or video. There were several different things they could do, and just wanted to find the right place for everybody. Then we went to a tracking sheet. This is where I kind of consolidated all the information, figured out what songs that I would cover and what songs are the most wanted. And then I had a journal where I would just write every week. I wanted to document what I was thinking and how things were going. I had this sort of calendar that I didn't really keep up with, but that's okay. I found other ways to keep up with my calendar. This is how I organized all the personnel that were a part of the project. This is where I figured out if there were any instruments that people would want to bring and like help contribute, like I could write for someone. So I ended up writing the synthesizer part for my friend Henry because he had a like core keyboard, because he brought that with him to the rehearsals and also to the performance. So shout out to Henry for always bringing his synth. That was really cool of him to do. And then this is where I kept track of mics, my input list, and then this is where I kept track of who was playing on which pieces, just so that I can make sure that no one got tired. When you're playing brass or a wind instrument, it's easy to get tired because you're using a lot of muscles like up here and up here. So it's easy to get really tired with that, like playing 10 pieces. You are not going to be able to play a high C at the end of a 10-piece concert if you're playing on every song. You know, I say that, but I have my trumpets on like 9 songs, so yeah, that's okay. I had high standards because I played trumpet since 6th grade, so that's okay. Sorry guys. And then this was where I kept track of what video footage we had for the back projector. This was the program. I made this myself and then printed it out with the help of the faculty and staff at my university, and we had several copies. Actually, here's a live one right here. So this cool little program was printed in black and white. Online it's in full color. I just kind of modeled it off of the programs I had seen before. My favorite touch that I did on this was these little banners for each of the games. I thought it would kind of bring life into the program, make it different, make it stand out. Yeah, and then I put a little bit about myself at the end. This is how I planned the stage layout, where I would place the mics, where I place the performers, who is standing, who is sitting, just so that I could keep a general idea of where everything was going to go. And then this was a day of show. I had one for the dress rehearsal and then also for the performance. As you can see here, I got very detailed with it. I wanted to make sure that the mixing engineer knew all of the information and wasn't going in blind, especially with how big of a show it was. And then there was something else that I ended up making for the showcase, but there's this nice printed booklet of all the scores. So it has all the scores to my arrangements just printed out here, and this was just a nice gift that my teacher, Dr. Rushing, gave to me as a kind of memento. She helped me print it out, and then I showed people at the showcase, and they could open it and flip through it, and now I get to keep it. So I want to get into some of my thoughts with this project. Overall, I loved working on it. I thought it was completely worth my time and energy to make it happen, and I was super proud of everyone because they really pulled through. Like, I put them through the ringer. The last song that I gave them was the Undertale medley, and I gave it to them 5 days. We pulled through at the end of that concert, and it was amazing. I loved getting to work with everyone and just being myself the whole way through. It was extremely challenging. It made me question everything I know about arranging, about writing, about directing, about planning, about logistics. It was just so much going on. I was really excited to get through all of that. I learned so many new things, got to apply so much that I learned throughout college. I received so much support from everyone around me. I was shocked, honestly, that we were able to raise that much money for t-shirts. I was so glad that I was able to give something back to everyone involved that they could keep, and hold on to for just to remember by, remember the project, remember what it was. Some things I wish that could have gone better. It was rushed, like I said, 5 days. It was a little rushed due to procrastination, almost the entire summer before, and I was warned about this before starting the project. Almost the entire summer before, I didn't work on it. I just wanted to relax. I wanted to decompress from that previous semester because the second to last semester of my college career was really tough. Yeah, I was going nonstop like that, so I wanted to slow down, and it was good. but I could have gotten started a little earlier. However, silver lining to that is that I received live feedback while I was writing these arrangements. And I would make a new arrangement about like once every 1 week or 2 weeks, and people would give me, like my performers would give me live feedback, and that would really help me figure out how to best write for them and how to best write for their instrument. And it was really valuable feedback. So that was a silver lining to that, having to do it all at once. It was a bit of an uphill battle just because it was something that hadn't been done before at the school. When you're breaking new ground like that, that's just kind of a given. Systems are designed the way that they are, so if you try and like go around that system or like try and do something different than the norm, it's always going to be met with pushback. So I think I handled it pretty well, all things considered. It was a little tough getting it off the ground, but that's okay. You know, that's a given. There's no ill will there. I wish I had gotten a little bit more time with the live production side of things, because pretty much during the performance and dress rehearsal, I kind of had to hand that off to someone else. Like, I couldn't be in two places at once. So being on stage had me have to be present and focused on performing and giving my best performance and directing everyone to give their best performances. So I couldn't deal as much with how to set up the mixing board, setting the mic placements, and like really getting into the details of that, or messing with the cameras and learning how that's going to be integrated. I pretty much had to see that after the fact with the video recording and the audio recording. So I'm mostly focused on pre and post production, but during the performance I mostly focus on music. You know, maybe I would be interested in that. I was really like alive, you know, being on stage like that. So I don't know if that's something that I would really trade off for if I ever got to do something like this again in the future. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. That's kind of what I thought could have gone a little bit better. I remember feeling immediately like a wave of satisfaction, but then I knew that I had to keep going to the next thing. Once I got it onto YouTube, I think that momentum just kind of died. I took a break. I used winter break to just relax, because I'd been through so much with that project. My momentum kind of died after that. I wish that something more kind of came out of it. Not that the things that came out of the project weren't bad or anything. They were amazing, and I'm so glad that I had to experience that. I think there was just a bit of a shock where all of a sudden I lost all these resources because I graduated. I couldn't keep doing stuff like that. No one had really contacted me or anything like that. So I was kind of on my own. And I've had to deal with that in the last year. Now I'm getting wiser, owning up to the fact that a large part of that is because I didn't go for those things, or I didn't go for certain things and like try to put myself out there. So here I am now, trying to put myself out here and talk about these sorts of things. But yeah, this project was one of the most amazing things that happened to me last year and in my life in general. And I would 100% be down to do something like this again, even if it's in a different context, if it's a different way. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do and what I want to do with my life. I'm not sure how to replicate that again, given, like I said, like with less resources and whatnot. But maybe I'm thinking too close-minded. Let me know if I'm thinking too close-minded. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the project. You can go and watch it right now. You can watch the full concert again. Again, if you haven't already, go watch the concert. If you have already, yeah, you can watch it again if you feel so inclined. And yeah, post in the comments. Let me know what you want to hear from me. I would definitely like to keep making more jazz arrangements because I love jazz. I love video game music. This is stuff that I grew up on, and I would love to find some way to like celebrate that and you know, become a part of and contribute to the community. So please let me know what you want to see from me. Follow along, subscribe for future things that I'm doing, and yeah, that's about it. See you later. Bye.